basically, the idea for this popped in my head, I don't know, 6 weeks ago or so, and there were two main motivations. Number one, the idea was, well, we can keep making stabs at reforms in the Texas family law court system, or why can't we just try to reform it all at once? Now, of course, if you try to reform something all at once, it's not going to happen overnight. It can be rejected completely. The legislature can decide to take a piece of it and do something with it. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen. But the more likely thing is that I'm hopeful that in the next 10 years, we can see significant reform to the Texas family law court system. Now, there's a whole other side of it, and there are a lot of family lawyers who don't think anything needs to be reformed, or just think maybe little pieces here or there. There's an old saying that in any system, you have 10% of the people want to change things. The problem is they can't agree on how to change it, right? So then you have 10%, but they all have different ideas, so it's very difficult to organize and get anything to happen. Then you have 10% of the people want things to stay the same in any system, and then 80% don't care. Now, that's a little bit of a joke, but there's a lot of truth. There are a lot of family lawyers, or they don't practice family law full-time, or they just need to make a living. It's not that they don't really care about anything, it's just they don't have time to think about it, and they're just trying to, like I say, make a living, support their family, so forth and so on. So I think it takes people like those of us on the commission to take a hard look at what needs to happen. Now, so why do I think the whole thing needs to be reformed? I think that I've been blessed. My dad, may rest in peace, he was a lawyer, although not a family lawyer. I think I've mentioned before to those of you who've been here from the beginning, that my mother was a therapist, so I kind of had those, I don't want to call it strange, but I'm sure there are other family lawyers who have parents who, one's a lawyer and one's a therapist, but I haven't met any yet. I don't know why. But it kind of gave me a perspective to take a look at how people look at things. In other words, my dad used to say that I was born with this ability to see how somebody else looks at something and not just see my own viewpoint, which can be difficult in litigation. But it allows me, but that's besides the point. It allows me to take a look at how does the public look at things. And I just hear so much feedback about, number one, how expensive it can be. We're seeing more and more, I don't know what the percentage is now, but it's a very high percentage of people filing their own cases, trying to do their own cases. There's been a growing movement across the country to have limited scope representations, what we call it in Texas, where an individual can hire a lawyer just to do one part of a case. 20-something years ago, about 20 years ago, Texas allowed this to even happen. You couldn't do that before. Like, you could always hire someone to do one little part of a real estate deal, let's say. But in court, you either had someone represent you or you didn't. And so now you can hire someone just to file a motion, let's say, just to appear for a motion. So that's significant. And that tells me that people either can't afford it or don't want to pay the fees that can be so expensive and just deal with everything that goes on in a battle through the courts. And I know that I tend to not look at my proposal